So what we're going to be doing is a genre sort. We just went over the 4 subgenres of fiction, and now you have 24 short snippets from actual fiction stories. And each one of these is a real book, real author, with just a little snippet, kind of like what you would see on the back of a book. So what you have to decide is you're going to read each one, and then you have to decide, is it realistic fiction, historical fiction, science fiction, or fantasy? So we'll go through and read this first one. So it says Road Trip by Gary Paulson. Father and son team up for an unforgettable road trip to rescue a border collie. When their truck breaks down, they commandeer an old school bus, along with its mechanic Gus and a waitress escaping a tense situation. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do all of this in pencil. We're going to go through and underline kind of story characteristics. For example, our characters are a father and a son, a mechanic Gus, and a waitress. Where is this story set? Well, they're taking a road trip. And it doesn't really mention past, present, or future, an exact location, which is totally fine. And then what's going on? Well, they're trying to rescue a border collie. And a border collie is a type of dog, but their truck breaks down. So then they have to get an old school bus and with Gus and the waitress, try to escape this tense situation. So those are our basic story elements. From what you underline, you need to decide realistic fiction, historical fiction, science fiction, or fantasy. Now you're going to need to use your notes from yesterday to figure out which road trip is. So you kind of have to ask yourself questions like, is it set in the past? Never mentions anything about the past. So historical fiction is out. Is there any magic? Any mythical creatures? Any talking animals? Well, there's an animal, but it's a border collie, just a pet, so no. And then is it in the future, outer space, kind of different technology? No. So really our only option is a story that's set in modern present, human characters, and a plot could actually happen. Let's go back here and see if these are true. We have human characters, and we have a basic plot, road trip, and they end up having to escape a tense situation. Both of those things could happen in real life. So in pencil, we're going to write realistic fiction in the corner of the card, and then we're going to come over here, and since this is card number 1, we're going to write on number 1, realistic fiction. We don't know for sure if this is correct yet, so we're just going to use pencil. So I'll do another one just so you get an idea of what we're doing. So here's number 2, Dangerous Waters by Gregory Monet. The great ocean liner Titanic is preparing to cross the Atlantic. On board is a sinister thief bent on stealing a rare book. Patrick is a 12-year-old Irish boy working as a steward on the ship. Can Patrick stop the thief? Again, we're going to start with underlining some main characteristics. Well, they're on the Titanic. Hopefully for some of you that's ringing a few bells. They're crossing the Atlantic. Who are our characters? We have a thief and we have Patrick, a 12-year-old boy. What is he trying to do? He's trying to stop the thief stealing a rare book. So now we go back here again and we ask ourselves some questions. And right away, when you hear the word Titanic, hopefully you realize the Titanic was a real ship in a real event where it hit an iceberg and sank. So right away, you should know it's not realistic fiction. Even though it really happened, it happened in the past. So historical fiction talks about real people, places, or events from history. The Titanic sinking is a real event from history. So So we're going to go back to our card and write in the corner HF, which stands for historical fiction. And then we're going to come to our answer key and write historical fiction. Break my pencil. Seriously. So you're going to go through all 24. You're going to read each card, ask yourself the questions from what you underline, record your answer. When you're done with all 24, you are then going to go around the room. There are keys around the room, and you're going to correct your answers. Any answer you get wrong, you need to erase and fix. This is just practice, so it's okay to erase and fix your answer. Then, now that you know what the correct answer is, you're going to return to the card and color code it. Now, based on our INB, we know that realistic fiction is blue. So now that I know for sure that this is realistic fiction, I'm going to go through and underline in blue all of those characteristics that made it realistic fiction. And then I'm going to, I know that it's realistic fiction now, so I'm going to write RF in blue. So again, we're going to do the same thing with number 2, where we know it's historical fiction, so we're going to underline all of those things in green and then write historical fiction. So again, to recap, you're going to start by doing all 24 in pencil, writing on the answer sheet in pencil. Go around to the room, whatever key is available, correct, fix any that you got wrong. Once you know this is perfect, you have all 24 corrected, then you return, color code, and label. That's your genre sort.